Thank you very much. The state of Hawaii and the Department of Business, Economic Development and Tourism are pleased to welcome you to the 3rd Annual Asia-Pacific Clean Energy Summit and Expo. Despite its relative infancy, this conference has already attracted over 1,200 people from the United States, China, Taiwan, Korea, Japan, Canada, Singapore, the Philippines, Australia, and Morocco. And not to mention our Pacific Island neighbors, Guam and the Marshall Islands. We have assembled an unparalleled group of energy experts for you today, with 195 speakers covering a host of topics, and hope that you'll take full advantage of this rich palette of expertise by attending as many of the 39 panel sessions as possible. And for those of you who are not able to attend all the sessions, they're being broadcast on Alelo and will be on Alelo's website, at least most of them. Let me take this opportunity to thank you all for being here today, particularly those of you who are traveling from out of state. We are always appreciative of tourists who come to Hawaii to enjoy our sun, sand, and surf. But we are especially pleased to have visitors who come here to exchange ideas with the idea of setting up roots and opening up a business. Thanks to the leadership of our governor and legislature, we have visionary and aggressive clean energy policies which are attracting worldwide attention. Through the Hawaii Clean Energy Initiative, which is a partnership between the state of Hawaii, the Department of Energy, and the private sector, we plan to transform Hawaii's economy from one that is dependent on fossil fuels to a leader in renewable energy and energy efficiency, all within a single generation. Some have wondered if this is possible. I think the more important question is, can we afford to wait? To do this, we have a troika of ambitious goals. 1, to reduce energy consumption by 30%. 2, to increase electrical generation from renewables by 40%. And 3, to reduce the use of petroleum for ground transportation by 70%. Although we are still at the beginning of our transformation, this dynamic public-private partnership is already bearing fruit. We are one of the top 4 states in the nation in energy savings. Due to our Lead by Example program, we are second in the nation in energy savings for state buildings. We are second in the nation in performance contracting per capita. Second in the nation in photovoltaic capacity per capita. And we are first in the nation in solar water heating capacity per capita. Equally important, our Clean Energy Initiative is good for business. It provides a critical boost to our economy by attracting investments from companies around the globe while benefiting local entrepreneurs. What started as a clean energy movement has morphed into an economic movement. This has resulted in a boom in new company formation, which has led to the creation of clean energy jobs, catapulting Hawaii to number 3 in the nation in clean energy employment growth. And we have become a test bed for clean energy technology, including wind, solar, geothermal, wave, OTEC, biomass, biofuels, and smart grid. While other locations may have greater scale, Hawaii offers a unique environment due to our rich diversity of renewable resources, coupled with high energy prices and a forward-looking state policy framework. Clearly, we are well positioned and off to a great start, thanks in large part to our next speaker, Governor Neil Abercrombie, who has made clean energy one of his top priorities. In his vision for Hawaii, as articulated in the New Day in Hawaii plan, clean energy plays a central role, not just in ensuring Hawaii's energy energy security, but as a key element in his plan to grow our economy and position Hawaii to compete in the 21st century. His leadership and commitment all but ensures that Hawaii will continue to be at the forefront in the clean energy movement well into the future. And he doesn't stop there. As the governor has recently mentioned, as the governor has recently announced a new broadband initiative that calls for ubiquitous 1 gigabit broadband service throughout the state. This broadband initiative, coupled with our energy initiatives, will provide Hawaii with the foundation for one of the most advanced infrastructures in the world. Under the Abercrombie administration, we view ourselves not just as the 50th state of the nation, but as a member of the Asia-Pacific region, which has become a leader in infrastructure development. And so it is with immense pleasure that I introduce the leader of the great state of Hawaii, the Honorable Governor Neil Abercrombie.
Thank you very much, Richard. Aloha! Aloha! I'm so glad to see all of you this morning. Is that the first time you ever heard that from a politician? The difference is, I think, not only that I mean it, but that this is, in fact, a new day for Hawaii. Richard was kind enough to mention it. It's an interesting proposition for someone who has been in public life as many decades as I've been. To actually put forward, that is to say, a campaign actually gives the opportunity to put forward a plan to say exactly what you want to do. What Richard was referring to is this booklet, if you will, that we put out, called A New Day in Hawaii. A comprehensive plan to invest in education, rebuild our economy, sustain Hawaii for future generations, and to restore public confidence. It's no secret. And it's not particular or peculiar to the United States that for the last couple of years especially, the confidence in terms of not only our economic stability, but confidence in the future has been shaken. And it's been shaken on a worldwide basis. What we decided to do here in Hawaii, and it was a basis really, I think, for the election process that took place here, was to say, no, we're going to try and take control of our own destiny. We had some obvious things happening here in Hawaii that can be transposed and translated to wherever you are from. I'm sure everyone here, particularly those who traveled from afar to meet with us today, to be here, have a love and an affection and an abiding interest in the future of their nations, of their regions. But here in Hawaii, we have literally, as the admonition given to us by our Polynesian forebears, that the life of this land is perpetuated in righteousness. We have to have what the Hawaiians call a pono attitude. We have to have the right attitude. We must do things the correct way with one another. We must look to our land and look to the sea around us for guidance. We don't dominate anything. The second human beings decide that they are going to be in a sense of domination, in a sense of control that indicates a kind of sovereignty over nature, we begin to have trouble. The Hawaiians taught us that we need to be in tune and in league with nature. We are a part of nature and have particular obligations and responsibilities in that respect. So yes, the wealth and health of our land can only be sustained if we have the correct attitude toward it. And so fundamental to our plan was energy and energy independence. Virtually all of the energy that is expended in the state of Hawaii comes from carbon-based fuels that have to be imported. And you will see, and you'll hear among the 195 speakers, I'm very happy, by the way, to be the first, and not the 195th. But in that regard, you will find that the speakers, particularly those who are going to reference Hawaii, will be referencing the New Day plan that Richard indicated. We are actually putting it into effect. And you're going to see and hear almost immediately from people like my friend James Woolsey, who will be speaking to you about what we're doing to combine forces from throughout the world to help us here in Hawaii and to indicate that Hawaii has such a valuable opportunity. We'll be talking about biofuels. You'll be hearing later from Joel Matsunaga, Hawaii Bioenergy. If you look at the newspaper from today, you will see an article there about an agreement that has been reached with the electric company here, the utility here, that is trying to transform itself from essentially a 19th century view of a utility as a corporation that is involved in selling energy in order to make a profit, in order to sustain itself, into a distribution configuration that is going to be a model for the 21st century. Some people will say, well, you can't, if you're dealing with biofuels, aren't you dealing with something that doesn't necessarily make economic sense? We have the highest electric rates in the world, practically. Certainly in industrialized countries and in the United States, it's right here because of the importation. To us, to the degree that we can control our own destiny in terms of what we can do with energy, if we have vast agricultural possibilities here in Hawaii, land already designated for that purpose, and we could put it to biofuel use, the fact that it may be more expensive than fuels in other areas is immaterial to us, because we're taking the long view. And we're taking the view that every dollar that stays here in Hawaii is a dollar we're investing in ourselves and in our future, and in that young lady that was singing Hawaii Pono'i and the Star Spangled Banner today. That child is utterly, totally dependent on the adults in this room, and the adults in this state of Hawaii, to see to it that she has a future. That child is still innocent. We have all our sins to atone for. That's why I ran for office and why I'm citing this plan. I'm trying to atone for multiplicity of sins. Doesn't matter. And one of the sins was arrogance. The sin of thinking that whatever was will always be, and that somehow we deserve it. No, we're making some changes here, and we're making changes on the basis of our experience. Richard was kind enough to allude to the various factors that we have in Hawaii leading us to a green foundation, not only for jobs, but for our economy. Much of that was based, and Mr. Woolsey will be cognizant of this, and our good friends George Ka'ilibai, working with the Pacific Command, is familiar with what we know in military housing here. When I was in the Congress of the United States and a member of the Armed Services Committee, I combined forces with Representative Joel Heffley of Colorado, a certified conservative Republican, as Mr. Woolsey will surely attest, and myself. I've been designated various things over the years. I won't recite them all to you. Progressive Democrat being among the most kind. We set aside the question of party and ideology to focus on the mission at hand, which was to see to it that in the armed forces of the United States, which had transposed itself from an armed services in which the draft was the key element to a volunteer service. You may recruit individuals for the armed services, but you retain families. And in order to do that and accomplish that, you have to have housing, you have to have what we call quality of life that will enable those families to remain in the services. And so we've built communities here. We took the land where the military bases were here in Hawaii, and we transformed them. And we have communities there now in which they qualify as the most green communities in the United States are right here in Hawaii and around the military bases. And our job right now, my job as governor, is to see that foundation that we've established on the military bases extends out into the civilian sector as well. And that's what we're going to be doing. We're going to be partnering in a public way, in a private way, with nonprofits and profit-making ventures alike. That which is associated with Mr. Woolsey, and that which is associated with the Pacific Command, that which is associated with the utilities, and that's which is associated with those who want an environmental sustainability worthy of the name. And what it takes is focus and determination to move ahead with that. That's the kind of thing that we're going to be doing. That's the kind of thing we're doing right now. And the way we're doing it here in Hawaii, and the reason we wanted to have this summit, and we're so happy to have you here today, is because, as Richard indicated, you may be thinking in old terms where Hawaii is concerned. So many times in the past, people have said about Hawaii, well, Hawaii is the crossroads of the Pacific. We're not the crossroads of anything. Crossroads you pass through. You don't pay any attention to a crossroads. You want to get through it and out of it. No, Hawaii, and particularly in Honolulu where you are now, this was the gathering place. This was the gathering place. No, we're the anchor of the Asia-Pacific area. We're not just the westernmost outpost of the United States, the 50th state. Yes, we are that. But we see ourselves as the easternmost outpost of the Asia-Pacific area. Those of you who come from around the Asia-Pacific rim, you understand now, I hope, that you're welcome here in Hawaii. We have a history here in Hawaii of connection with the Asia-Pacific area. We were a kingdom. Someday when you have several hours and nothing else to do, let me recite to you the land tenure system in Hawaii that goes back to the time of the pre-feudal kingdom. Through a shotgun republic, to a territory, to a state of the union. No, we had a history with Asia Pacific and actually with the whole world here. The Kingdom of Hawaii had relationships all across Asia and the Pacific. And we want that same relationship again. We have the opportunity here, and we reflect upon the fact that we have more alternative energy possibilities here in Hawaii than possibly any other place on the face of the earth. Yes, our venue is small, but the possibilities are enormous. And we could be a test bed for many of those in the room here for investment opportunities and for research opportunities that will benefit us and you. And that's what we're reaching out to you today to indicate. My hope is that you will take advantage of every opportunity of these many speakers and these many venues that are here during this summit. And that you'll recognize that you have friends here in Hawaii who are reaching out to you and saying, we want to work with you. We have research capabilities at the University of Hawaii that I think with the slightest bit of inquiry on your part, you will find is available to you and commensurate with that goal, with those goals that you have and that you want to accomplish with regard to energy and with regard to alternative energy future. Whether for your companies, for your region, for your states, for your nations. That's what Hawaii has to offer. We're trying to accomplish here with our New Day plan for energy. The University of Hawaii on Maui is in partnership with our Department of Business and Economic Development for the adoption of electric vehicles in Hawaii. We've just gotten a $300,000 grant I can announce today from the United States Department of Energy. We're moving ahead with electric vehicles here in the state of Hawaii. Our automobile distribution dealers, our Automobile Association, is leading the charge. That's a bad pun, I just realized. Thank you, Mark. You'll get it in a moment. Thank you. That was earlier. I'm not usually that fast this early in the morning. I want to write right by myself. But our Automobile Dealers Association actually had its show, its automobile show last year, featuring the idea that we were going to convert to electric automobiles. We're moving on the energy front to be able to get our alternative energy for transportation. That's what we're zeroing in on. We're trying to have a practical view of what we can do to achieve as much energy independence as we can possibly manage, and that spills over into agriculture then, so that we can be growing our own food. We're actually importing more food into Hawaii right now than we were in the 1970s. This is the kind of thing we have to confront if we're going to meet the questions of climate change, of global warming, of the internationalization of global forces and pricing structures with regard to carbon-based fuels all across the world. We have a photovoltaic inverter, $6.1 million to the University of Hawaii to work with industry partners to develop and demonstrate smart grid-enabled PV inverters. This is going to allow our grid to take on more solar energy, that we're going to be working with the Pacific Command, that we're going to be working with the university. We're building a new campus out in the west part of the island of Oahu here, and we're working right now to see whether we can take land that's available for a vast solar project so that we can have complete independence of energy for the university system. So that's $6.1 million I'm announcing today. I know the president of the university is here today. I hope she didn't know that I was telling her for the first time, although she's so sharp, I suspect that I'm behind her on that. And we're going to increase the capacity of smart grid. The Energy Office of the Department of Business and Economic Development has a $750,000 grant to provide technical assistance to our Public Utilities Commission. We're going to transform the Public Utilities Commission here in Hawaii. We need to do that across the globe, as a matter of fact. Transpose and translate what has taken place in the past and move into an energy future that is based on solid regulatory and administrative capacity that reaches out to the possibilities that we need to explore and that we need to exploit in order to achieve energy independence. So I'm very, very pleased that you're here today. I'm very, very pleased that I'll be followed here this morning by the Pacific Command and by Jim Woolsey, because I think that'll help to bring a bit of a more of a global perspective to what we're doing and to indicate to us that we need to be united in this. Our diversity here in Hawaii defines us rather than divides us. If there is anything that the Aloha Spirit represents, it is that diversity. It's manifested in the President of the United States, whom I assure you was born August 4th, 1961 in Kapiolani Hospital, right down the road. I know because I was there, not in the room. That diversity of this nation, and most especially of Hawaii, is what defines us. It does not divide us. And that's what needs to happen with energy. It needs, in the end, not to provide a sense of competition between nations or regions, or to provide the basis for conflict and confrontation, but rather we need to unite around the idea that we as human beings are responsible for this earth. We're responsible for the lands we grew up in, and the culture and the heritage and legacy of values that each of us has, each of us carries in our hearts. And surely it is universal, or should be universal, that these values involve a sense of brotherhood and sisterhood with one another. And what better vehicle, if you will, to manifest this than energy? I see right now among our brothers and sisters in the Asia-Pacific area the question of oil, the question of drilling out in areas associated with off the Philippines, off Malaysia, off China, off Japan, whatever the designation may be, and people confronting one another. Why not take a cooperative attitude? Why not reach out to one another and say, let's share this bounty. Let's work together. The Hawaiians said they had a concept called ahupua'a, from the mountains to the sea. Ahupua'a. Everything was seen in combination with one another. Some people were fishing. Some people were growing food. Others made canoes. Others had different skills. All worked together for the common good. We're island people here. If we don't work together, we don't survive. We have to do that. Kamehameha united the island, saying that we all have to be together. We cannot have that attitude take place of division. I have mine. Good luck to you. You're on your own. No, we have a concept here in Hawaii that we need to apply to all Asia-Pacific area. We have a tremendous opportunity as we go into this 21st century with the emergence of the Asia-Pacific area, in my estimation, as the most important economic and social force over the next century will be Asia-Pacific. It's imperative that we work together and that energy become a basis of a common humanity and brotherhood and sisterhood with one another. That's the opportunity that I believe is before us right now. And we're certainly going to try and do that. We have our own problems here. We have islands, as I've indicated, and some islands are saying, well, we have this capacity for independent energy, say geothermal on the Big Island that doesn't exist elsewhere. That's why we have to have the cable. That's why we have to have a broadband initiative and move forward. Because we can't see, well, this island has this and you can't have it because we've got it. We've all got to be together in order to be united in Hawaii. We've all got to be together on energy throughout the entire Asia-Pacific area. And so I hope, and my admonition to the degree that I get to preach a sermon to you today, which I am, don't worry, there won't be an offering plate go as I get finished here. But you can see, I'm committed to that. This administration is committed to that. We're committed to a Pono attitude, not just towards ourselves, but to all of Asia and the Pacific, of trying to do the right thing and reaching out to one another in brotherhood and sisterhood. That's what I think our great opportunity is here in Asia and the Pacific. We stand ready to work with you here in Hawaii to the degree that we can, and in any context that is suitable for your particular circumstances. In the end, this is a question of values. It's not a question of budget. It's not a question of money. It's not a question of political sovereignty. It's a question of whether we unite around a common cause of providing the necessary energy that we need to enable all of the young people of this earth, all of our brothers and sisters across Asia and the Pacific, to have not just an energy future, but a future worthy of ourselves as human beings.
Back in 1892, who can these people be? In the middle of the sea, sing a song of sovereignty. She ruled her people with grace and dignity, showing all the world the importance of unity. Oni pa'a, our motto until we die. Any enemy of Hawaii is an enemy of mine.